Visions of you in my head. Can't get you out of my mind. Thinking about you all the time. Someone lady, someone out. Lady. Just my lady. Someone girl. To be your lover, I'll be real smooth girl.
Well, hello, beautiful people. How is everyone doing? For those of you who watch my show faithfully every week, the song you just heard, it was called Lady in Red, and it was by a guest that I had on a couple weeks ago. And what I want to do, I want to not only have guests and feature the guests, but also periodically or as much as I can play their music. And that was Chuck the Voice, and the song was called Lady in Red. My name is Jan, and I'll be your host this evening, and it feels really good to be here on this Thanksgiving weekend. I don't know about you, but I am so tired. How was your holiday weekend? Me personally, I could probably use a couple of days off, and I can use a couple of days off because I feel like, man, it makes you have a new respect for, our mothers and our aunts and just all of our family members, because they did this day in and day out. I mean, day in and day out, they do this all the time. Cook and clean and cook and clean and entertain and cook and clean and cook and clean. I'm tired. This is exhausting. It's just exhausting. I've had company now for the past 9 days. And it's one of my sisters, okay? So I think she's had an okay time, but I heard her talking to somebody on the telephone. And she had the nerve to say, you know what? I've only been here with Jan about 9 or 10 days. And I've been to church 3 or 4 times. Well, I wanted to tell her, Heifer, you need to be in church 3 or 4 times. For real. Okay, I'm just joking. I'm not going to say which sister because I don't want anyone to know which one I referred to as that name. Today, I'm so excited because I have an exciting guest, Khalid Scott. He's a licensed social worker, and we will discuss couples therapy. Later on in the show, a couple minutes in, I'm going to have a quick news you can use, but I'm going to read a brief bio on him. His real bio lasts about 12 minutes. I'm going to read a brief one, and I'll post your comments, and if time permits, he will entertain your questions. I always start my show off with the scripture of the day. The scripture of the day comes from 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 15. And it says, all this is for your benefit, so that the grace that is reaching more and more people may cause thanksgiving to overflow to the glory of God. And on this Thanksgiving week, I think that's a very appropriate, and every day, that's a very appropriate scripture. Going to go right into the news you can use, because I know you're going to have a lot of questions. At least I hope you have a lot of questions. Make comments, but have a lot of questions for Khalid. So let's start off with the news you can use. This story, I am about tired of hearing about these folks. But a new book claims that Prince Charles privately discussed with his wife the likely complexion of any children of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The potentially devastating accusation appears in the latest book by the New York Times bestselling author Christopher Anderson. But the author stopped short of directly alleging that Charles is a royal racist who expressed concerns to Prince Harry over the color of the couple's children. However, his new book, Brothers and Wives Inside the Private Lives of William, Kate, Harry, and Meghan, out November 3rd, I guess Prince Charles asked his wife, I wonder what the children will look like. And a somewhat taken aback Camilla apparently replied, well, absolutely gorgeous, I'm certain. Now, okay, I guess I heard this story before and everybody was wondering who to point the finger at, who asked that question. Now, I want you to tell me for real, who has not thought, I mean, who has not thought, I wonder how the kids are going to turn out? I wonder what shade they're going to be. I think when Mr. Scott comes on, I think we're going to talk a little bit about colorism if we can fit it in, because I saw a post that he made because his wife is very, very, very fair skinned, and they thought that she was possibly of another hue and some of the backlash she has. But even with that, who that has had an interracial couple, or even a couple where one is one shade and one is another, and you kind of just wondering what shade that kid will be. I don't think that indicates any hint of racism. There's a lot of reasons to think one is racist, but I don't think that is. On another story, one of Malcolm X's 6 daughters, Malika Shabazz, 56, was found deceased around 4:40 on Monday in her Brooklyn apartment by her daughter. Her death comes 2 days after Muhammad Aziz and the late Khalil Islam were exonerated for the murder of her father. Their convictions were reviewed after Malcolm X's daughters requested that the investigation into his murder be reopened in light of new evidence, citing a deathbed letter from a former policeman who alleged that the New York police and the FBI conspired to murder their father. The report initially said it's completely natural causes. We have no reason to think it's anything else. I don't know. It could be natural causes. I mean, that does happen, but I think the timing may be a wee bit suspect because of the case being reopened and the 2 men being exonerated. So I wonder, in doing that, if they've pointed the finger at anyone else. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. New reports state things are getting worse for daytime TV talk show host Wendy Williams. Allegedly, Wendy's capability to walk has become diminished, and she's restricted to using a wheelchair now. It's also being reported that the 57-year-old talk show host has completely lost all blood circulation in her legs and her feet. The Wendy Williams show host is also allegedly, this may not be true, allegedly suffering from early stages of dementia. Delissa Tucker was just steps away from her son's memorial early Wednesday morning when she was fatally shot. She had lost 14-year-old Kevin Tinker to gun violence the Sunday before, and friends said she was tending to his memorial, her son, when she was gunned down. While she was lighting a candle for her son, her life was taken. Such a tragedy, and you're seeing this over and over and over again. And there was an article in the newspaper. Someone had contacted me right before the show and said, you got to do a show on this. It actually talked about the number of African Americans fleeing from the city of Chicago due to violence. I mean, everybody knows that we've always been fleeing, but now we're probably doing it in record numbers because do you feel safe anywhere? And people are just leaving, and they're not regretting leaving. And because of our numbers diminishing, everyone knows that now the city council, they're in the process of remapping the districts. I can see it being a potential fight against brown and black people because Latinx numbers are going up, our numbers are going down. So there's going to be changes. Changes are coming, and we still haven't managed to wrap our arms around this violence. It's not just here; it's everywhere. But that's going. I think I'm going to do a show on that in the next week or two. It's going to be an interesting show. Out of London, global health authorities said they're monitoring a new COVID-19 variant first identified in Botswana, with the World Health Organization saying Friday the new strand, dubbed Omicron, is a variant of concern. South African scientists identified a new version this week, and they say it's behind the recent spike in COVID-19 infections in Gauteng, the country's most populous province. It's unclear where the new variant first emerged, but scientists in South Africa first alerted the World Health Organization, and it has now been seen in travelers in Britain, Belgium, Botswana, Hong Kong, and Israel. Health Minister Joe Fela said the variant was linked to an exponential rise of cases in the last few days, although experts are still trying to determine if the new variant is actually responsible. Out of our fair city, Chicago, CTA bus driver was stabbed late Friday night, police said. The bus driver, 37 years old, was traveling eastbound on North Avenue when he observed an unknown adult man on the bus pickpocket a woman. The bus driver approached the man, at which point the two began arguing, and a physical confrontation ensued, police said. The offender then displayed a knife and swung it, stabbing the bus driver in the hand. The offender fled, but it's been located and identified as a Gilwood man named Daniel Pelt. He has been placed into custody and transported to Area 3 for further investigation. The bus driver was transported by the Chicago Fire Department in good condition to Northwestern University Hospital. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office on Sunday morning identified Caden Bell, 14, was the boy killed in the Lawndale crash on Saturday. A 20-year-old man was driving a gray Dodge Charger west in the 4400 block of West Cermak Road when Bell and a 12-year-old girl ran into the street and were struck by the car around 7:30 p.m. The boy was pronounced dead at the scene, and the young girl was rushed to Mount Sinai. The driver was cited for not reducing speed and not yielding to pedestrians. And our last story today, fashion designer Virgil Abloh, the founder of the Off-White luxury fashion label and the first Black artistic director of Louis Vuitton menswear, died on today, November 28th, after a private battle with cancer, according to a statement shared on the Louis Vuitton's verified Twitter account. Louis Vuitton and Off-White are devastated to announce the passing of Virgil Abloh on Sunday, November 28th, of cancer, which he had been battling quietly for several years. They said they're all shocked after this terrible news. Louis Vuitton chairman Bernard Arnault said in the company's official statement announcing Abloh's death. Virgil was not only a genius designer, a visionary, he was also a man with a beautiful soul and great wisdom. The LVMH family joined me in this moment of great sorrow, and we are all thinking of his loved ones after the passing of their husband, their father, their brother, and their friend. And that's the news you can use only on Intellectual Radio's Voices of Change. Now, before I bring this handsome man on, now I hope all of you saw like the little flyer that we put out. There was a flyer put out announcing the show. And there was such a good picture of him on it. I just want, if you haven't seen it, go to my page and look at that flyer. That picture's a killer. But I'm going to tell you about this man that is about to come on set. And this is an abbreviated version because I've read much longer versions. Here we go. Khalid Scott, Khalid B. Scott, BS, MSW, LCSW, CADC, CODP, C-SWHC, CWEL, LPHA. Can anybody tell me what all those alphabet mean? Maybe I'll have Khalid do it. Has a social work career spanning over 27 years and the recipient of 20 social service-related awards. Currently, he's a licensed clinical social worker, substance use disorder, SUD, specialist at the Department of Veterans Affairs. Khalid is a contractual psychosocial individual, family marriage therapist. Khalid was also a contractual trainer and college lecturer at Columbia, Chicago State, Malcolm X, Governor State, UIC, Moraine Valley, and DePaul University, DePaul's MSW program, Chicago campus. Khalid received his BS in Corrections and Criminal Justice from Chicago State University and MSW from UIC Jane Addams College of Social Work. Khalid, who is a single father and in his spare time mentors both adults and youth, a member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and provides social work-based training and workshops, and is a motivational speaker for various Chicagoland forums, i.e. Real Men Read, and self-empowerment events. Khalid is also a published author, has appeared on several TV talk shows as the featured guest clinician, as well as has appeared on multiple radio talk shows, including Intellectual Radio's Voices of Change. Khalid is a 10-time award-winning veteran serving 9.5 years combined in both the U.S. Army and the Illinois Army National Guard. Help me welcome Khalid Scott.
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you.
Wow, what a person. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, sis. I promise you I am.
Wonderful, wonderful. I just want to thank you in advance and thank you right now in the here and now for taking the time out of your busy schedule. And I say busy only because I have seen you on so many shows. I've seen you all over the place.
Right.
And you're like a celebrity status, huh?
Somebody want to hear my words, I guess. That's
Well,
all God.
yeah, and we have to give him the honor for that because it's only because of him. Romaine, you're writing a whole lot of things. Hey, hello, Mr. Scott, Sir Scott. Oh my, oh my. Okay, I want people to comment. If you have a question, again, we'll do what we can. But I want to get right into this interview because Khalid has so many nuggets. Can't say I'm going to agree with all of them. But he has so many nuggets, and if we can, I really want to get into that just a wee bit, not to get into your personal life, but about the colorism, because that's real. That's a real thing. Okay, so with a robust career in the military and your undergraduate degree in criminal, why did you decide to go into social work and counseling? How did you dip into that?
Well, when I first entered college, I started off at Morehouse College.
Oh.
And I was a computer major right out the Army. And then I went to the Persian Gulf War. And after the war, I came home because I said, you know what, being in a war situation, it makes you value life and everybody in your village. So I was like, you know what, I just want to go home and be with my family and friends. So I finished out my academic career at Chicago State. So while I was at Chicago State, I took a class called Psychology of Urban Youth. And the professor, Dr. Pamela Hill-Veal, who's a retired judge, she gave us an assignment to go to juvenile court on the west side to observe the court all day. And as I was leaving the building after being there all day, seeing all these DCFS cases and these juvenile delinquent cases, and was just feeling outdone, I saw a Cook County sheriff take 10 Black boys upstairs to the juvenile detention center, which we call the Oddie home.
Yeah.
And right there, I had an epiphany. God smacked me in the face and was like, man, you're going to do that work. You're going to help our children. That was 1991. I graduated in 93, been a social worker ever since. And not one day have I ever regretted doing this work, because it was my God's calling, to help my village. And this is my ministry, Janice. This is my ministry.
You actually,
and as you see,
you did it. You are doing it. And I see the brag wall. I love it. I love it.
Right.
I love
Absolutely.
it. Not to get personal, but I guess I am getting personal. And if there's anything that's too personal that you don't want to answer, feel free to say, nah, we don't have to talk about that.
Never that. Open book.
Really? Everything?
Yes, absolutely. I can't tell people to divulge and open up and be transparent to me if I don't know how to use that to my advantage as well,
Okay.
Plus, I'm a good guy, so I don't have any weird stuff going on out there.
Okay. This question is somewhat personal. Do you believe your marriage would have benefited from counseling? Did you receive counseling?
When my ex-wife asked me for a divorce, that was the first thing I begged her to do. Let's do counseling. And she was the one who refused. So I know the benefit. And now that I'm doing marriage counseling, I know the benefit of sitting down with someone who is unbiased, who only wants good things to happen for that couple, and to let that couple share and do the work both individually and collectively. So I think it would have made a difference. But you know what? Sometimes when people make up their mind to do something, you got to let them do it. And for me, Janice, and anybody listening, I don't beg for love. Don't have to.
Yep. Yeah, I see all the pictures of the real pretty one recently. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. Okay.
Wow.
Why do you believe couples need marriage counseling? What if they think they're doing good? What if, why do you think do you think all couples should have it?
I think couples should have it before they get married, during the marriage, and if they do decide to go in opposite directions, do termination sessions where they, and especially if they have children, because even though you're not a couple anymore, you still have to co-parent, and you have to co-parent effectively, because divorce hits kids in a way that us adults who are going through the divorce can't even imagine. Because imagine the two people you love the most are not together anymore. And it's like, God, who do I have to be loyal to? Who do I supposed to love this person more than? How do I separate the love? How do I get used to coming home and one of my parents is not there? And then we see this over and over. It's like when one parent divorces, they not only divorce the spouse, they act like they're divorced the kids as well. And what happens is kids are a sponge for pain. They're a sponge for pain. And that's why, like with me, when I got divorced, I put both me and Anaya in individual and family counseling, because I knew we need to get the intervention early on in order to deal and to heal.
So when you say pre-counseling, I know before I got married, there's pre-counseling that a lot of churches make you do.
Yes.
But do you think if two young people want to get married and think they're doing the right thing, do you think they're going to be honest and transparent in those pre-counseling sessions?
Well, if they came and saw me, I will let them know the day after the wedding, everything is going to come to light. Everything. Because during the preparation of marriage, you get busy with the busy. You get busy with the introduction to family and friends. You get busy with the planning of the wedding. And you're still kind of in this warm and fuzzy phase, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, but you stay busy. It's just like when somebody close to you dies and you get so busy planning their funeral, right? You don't take the moment to mourn, right? Because you're busy, you're active. But then when you come home from the funeral and you come into that empty home,
yourself,
then the tears start coming down, because now you have that moment of quiet where now I got to face my grief. And so I transfer that over to with couples the day after the wedding. When everything is settled down, then you got to discover who this person that I married, who are they? Without the gloss, without the makeup, without the haircut, with just this person naked in front of me, who are they and who are they to me, and who am I to them? So that's why counseling is important on every level.
Do you think that the most critical time for a couple to get counseling is in that very beginning?
Yes, absolutely. Because they're transitioning from it's all about me to it's all about us. And sometimes people don't know how to make that transition. Such as, for instance, say you got a man who marries, and say he grew up with a mother who was doting to him, who did everything from him, cooked for him, cleaned for him, did his laundry. His expectation for that wife is, well, my mom did it. She loved me. Why aren't you doing it for me? Then say he marries a young lady who didn't have a dad, right? So she expects you to fill in that love deficit that I didn't get from a father. And so he like, well, I ain't your daddy, I'm your husband. But because I'm a young lady seeking love from a man, you need to be all encompassing of that. So if you in counseling and you bring both those issues to the table, a therapist can say, hey, this is how you need to navigate. This is how you need to set up realistic expectations of each other.
How do you unwrap all that? Okay, so if you're talking to a new couple, a young couple, gosh, how do you unwrap that package to know that she didn't have, or do you just find out when you're talking to them and asking them about their background?
Well, one of the things I tell my new clients, prior to us doing the first session or after the first session, I tell them to go on demand and look at a show called Ayanla Fix My Life.
Oh,
and I tell them to watch about 1 to 3 episodes. So they look at me like, well, why, Mr. Scott? Why, Dr. Scott? I said, because I'm the male version of Ayanla.
Oh, okay. Are you really?
I sure am. Because I don't need you to be in my therapy couch for 20 years. We need to address what's going on right here, right now, on the first session. Okay. I need you to roll your sleeves up and let's get busy with the busy. Unless you want to pay me $95 an hour for the next 10 years, right? That's okay too. But for me, I want to make sure I'm helping. I didn't come into this industry and get all these credentials to have you on my couch for 20 years. I want to know that my hard work is paying off with my clients.
How long does it typically take? I'm just curious.
It depends on the scenarios, you know. I just went into private practice September, got a waiting list already with international high achievers, and it's highachievers.net. And you know, so I got new couples, but I started marriage therapy a year ago, and so the average is anywhere from 6 to 12 months, depending on the subject. And like all the couples that I've been dealing with, for the most part, they come in because of infidelity issues. Okay,
that's a great segue. If you were to name the top 3 problem causers in a marriage, what would they be?
Infidelity is number 1, finances, communication.
Infidelity is number 1 or finances is number 1? Infidelity?
Infidelity is number 1, finances is number 2, communication and everything else is 3 and beyond.
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Okay, so you obviously infidelity, finances, and what's the third one?
Communication.
Okay, yeah, communication.
And then everything else.
Yeah, it kind of falls into that.
Yes.
Okay, so most of your issues are infidelity. Do they include people that have kids? I mean, a woman brings home a kid, it's not the husband, or a man brings home a kid, it's not the wife. You probably see the whole gamut. You see everything.
Right. I have my very first couple that I provided marriage therapy to. The husband got an ex-girlfriend pregnant while he was celebrating his 20th anniversary with his wife. Yes. And I needed that couple. I needed that couple because I needed the depth and the seriousness and to understand how challenging and complex marriage therapy is. So that was a great couple to have as my first.
That would be hard. 20 years of lying, 20 years of. Did that couple get back together? Did they divorce?
They divorced. When they did the DNA, they found out that the baby was his, and she decided to get divorced.
And you probably see most women who, when the men bring a baby home, they probably do divorce them. Probably.
No, absolutely not.
No, I said most women, when a man gets a baby outside and she finds out about it, most of those marriages end in divorce.
Okay, I'm gonna say that again. Absolutely not. Janice, think about our uncles and aunties and grandparents and great-grandparents. How many of those uncles and dads and granddaddies had second families, but grandmama, auntie, mama stayed with them? That is not a what is that word, that term? Non-negotiable for people anymore. Absolutely not.
But isn't it a bit different now? Because when you think about your aunties and them, when that happened to them, the family wasn't so much put in her face, maybe. You know what I mean? So now I think, since everything is just so transparent, if somebody goes out there and have a child, that child, you're going to be expected to help raise that child if you're the woman in the house, right? No?
Okay. You can give me every argument you would like.
No, I'm just asking.
No, what I'm telling you is the reality is, depending on the woman.
Okay.
If her self-esteem is down, and I've made this man my entire life, okay, I'm going to be mad at him. I'm going to be hurt, but I'll deal with it. And the husbands who I'm counseling, the husbands and wives, the husbands have cheated multiple times, not one, multiple times. So the wives have forgiven them. And the thing is about us men, I hate to say it, and I'm going to say it because you know who I am, that once you forgive me from breaking you, I learn to be better on how to do what I'm going to do. Because there was no ramifications, no consequences to my misbehaviors.
So I'm just going to keep doing it because I know I can.
Absolutely. Especially because we know who we're married to, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm married to you and you have forgiven me for stepping out on you 3 times, why would I think you're going to leave me after the 4th?
Okay, so let me flip this because women cheat, and I wouldn't have said this a year ago. Women cheat almost as much as men do. Do men stay also?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Understand this. Men get into comfort zones, right? So if I'm married to you and my thing is at 7 o'clock at night when I get in from work, wash up, go and sit down in my easy chair with my remote control and my glass of whatever, that's comfortability, right?
Right.
And see, men know how to categorize. We can separate, right? Now, most men do this when our women step out to cheat, right? We understand that man got her mind first and her body followed second, right? Because women, they tend not to just do it because of the sexual gratification.
Right.
It's, man, he had game. He talked to me. I told him everything my husband wasn't doing. He listened. And he had an affair with my brain first. My body followed secondly, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, man, you know, women out. So a lot of brothers that got this, well, women out here cheating bad as us now. We taught them how to cheat. So what? I'm just going to throw her out after 20 years?
Wow.
No, I'm just going to go through it. But you know what? She don't understand now. She don't gave me permission to go back out and cheat. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So it's a vicious cycle. And remember, it started from slavery.
Cheating?
I think when what happens, go back to the mindset of the buck. 6'2" black slave. Master made him sleep with 100 slave girls. Men had to learn to cut the emotion off because I'm a baby maker. When a man goes out and cheats, it's not always because he's in a relationship with the other woman. It's that he knows how to compartmentalize that this is an outlet, like going to the gym. Okay? So I still love my wife. I love my children, love my home, but this is something for me. This is something for me. And then also, too, a lot of us men, we're sloppy. You know, I gave you the example.
Come on now, you're right.
We'll get the naked pictures. We'll drive home. We know we need to hit the delete button, but we don't because we want to wake up in the middle of the night and look at that naked body. And then what happens is I go in the house, put my phone in the nightstand, take a shower. My phone code, in case anybody steals my phone, is Anaya's birthday. 0821, you see all the naked pictures. And so I'm called. And then I'm like, baby, I messed up. She sent me the picture. I don't know why she sent me that picture. Baby, I love you. Forgive me. Okay, I can't stand you. Buy me a diamond bracelet for my birthday. Oh, that's all I gotta do? I'll sleep on the couch too. You want me to do that too? Yes. Okay, but I'm only gonna sleep on that couch for 3 days. I'm only gonna sleep on there for 3 days and I'm coming back up to the room. I have these real conversations with couples because this is what's out here.
Right.
I don't candy coat therapy. I can't. We can't afford to. We have real issues we're dealing with, Janice. So the reason why I wanted to talk about love and therapy, because if you're going to be in a dysfunctional relationship, get some help.
Oh, come on. Okay.
Because our kids are suffering. I have 20-something-year-old mentees like Mr. Scott. I'm not getting married. I'm going to have kids, but I'm not going to get married, sir. Why not? Because I saw what my parents went through.
But do you kind of understand that fuzzy logic, even if they're not 20 years old, because they ultimately are going to end up kind of the same? I think me and you were even talking one time, and you said most men, all men, 99% or whatever, men cheat. So if she's going to be back in this same spot,
all men cheat. Don't even do that now.
I'm trying to be
all
nice.
Men.
I'm trying to be nice because I got some pushback on that. But
let the heat come on me. Let the heat come on me, because I've been standing by that statement for 25 years. Okay, all men cheat.
So if all men cheat, and I'm with the cheater, and I leave the cheater, why would I go to somebody else when ultimately they're gonna do it? They're gonna cheat too, right?
Yes.
So
that's why I'm saying, if we're gonna be in these dysfunctions, at least get some help to help navigate.
Jeez.
I have a waiting list, and I've been in private practice for 3 months.
Wow, you good though. I know why you have waiting list, because you all over. I see you are all over.
Absolutely.
Okay, one last question on this. If you were to break down percentage-wise, how many of these couples split? Like, forget it, you lied to me, your daddy, or whatever, I'm done. Or the man say, no, I can't look at you no more. Or whatever. How many of them quit?
Well,
50%?
Statistics show that 80% of women file for divorce. And statistics also show that 50% of marriages end in divorce. So divorce attorneys are making money.
Big money.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And marriage counselors are making money.
Yeah, 3 months of waiting list. You mean I couldn't even get in because you got a waiting list? I just come to your house. Just joking.
Right.
Okay, so what about finances? You said that's number 2. Finances?
Well,
is it because of one spending too much, or?
Yes, absolutely. You know, people have gambling addictions.
Oh, yeah.
You know, spending addictions. You know, people during this pandemic, people lost their jobs. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, people have traditional values, like I should be at home while you go to work. You know, and it's a range of the financial situations.
But that's,
you know, it's just not just one thing, but of course it's going to affect the family. So like for me, my ex-wife loved working, quitting jobs, and open up businesses.
Yeah.
So she had an entrepreneur spirit.
That's how some of us have that. Yeah.
Right, but it's costly being an entrepreneur, you know? So, you know, it's different reasons. And finances matter, because this is where you show stability and security, you know? Mm-hmm. And you know, and then the last part, communication. Learning how to talk to each other.
Oh,
stop avoiding each other. Have the hard conversations. Let them know that you don't turn me on no more. Oh, you don't turn me on no more.
What do you mean? This is what hold it. Couples will say, oh, because one has gotten fat or one has gotten whatever.
Right. Yikes. And then understanding people are going to change. Who we were at 22, at 52, 30 years later, it's going to look differently.
How do you, okay, so hypothetically, if you had a couple, I came in and my husband said, I can't stand her because she's fat. How do you counsel someone like that? You tell me to go to the gym? I'm just asking. That communications thing.
Right. If a husband comes in complaining that his wife he's been married to is fat, it's more deeper issues than her fat. The fat part is just the easiest thing to deal with. It's an underlining issue going on. Okay. And then and of course, if they want to stick with that, it's like, okay, I see that you go and work out. Have you offered her to go and work out with you? Have you bought her a membership? Have you degraded her so bad? Because, you know, I have weight issues. Now, I've just lost 60 pounds since April. But somebody who has weight issues, the worst thing you could do is point it out to us. Because it's a demon with us already. And if you love me and you point it out, you just made me feel worse. And you don't that doesn't motivate me to run to the gym. Right. It motivates me to go to the refrigerator.
You're right.
And look for comfort. So I have to tell the husbands, okay, you are complaining about her weight. Wife, what's your complaint? He don't do it no more in bed. What? Sir, you hit below the belt with that. Now you get to see how it feels when she hits below the belt.
That's right.
See, this is what I do, Janice. On the first session, I tell both the husband and wife, no matter what the scenario that brought them in, you're both at fault. So the wives do this. Mr. Scott, you think I wanted him to go and sleep with somebody else? No. Right. No. But something happened in your home that led him to walk outside his house and find something from somebody else in their house.
But if you're saying that all men cheat, how can you blame it on me?
Hold on. It's not a blame. It's saying that I can't start therapy with a victim and a villain. Because then it would go there for the rest of the therapeutic relationship. I have to let both of them know you got to work on you individually and collectively as a couple. And both of you all have faults. Because if I go in blaming the husbands and having the wives be the hero or the victim, then the husbands won't stay in therapy for long. Or vice versa, right? If I go in putting them both on even territory and telling them they both have to do the work, then the option of them staying and working on both their issues is greater. Would you want to go and see a therapist with your husband and the therapist is just blaming you and not him?
Nobody would.
Nobody. So I would lose somebody. So that's why we do it on both. Just like Ayanla. Ayanla blames everybody in the room. Because she knows you can't do nothing individually. The blame has to be collective.
I got a good question. Is it your opinion that all men cheat always?
No, I think some men learn their lessons and stop at some point.
How can you tell if a man learned their lesson and stop?
How can you tell
the type that stops?
You would know it immediately. You would know it immediately about his actions. When a man is cheating, women can smell it 3 miles away.
Really?
Absolutely, you can. You just choose to ignore it. If your husband comes home at 9 o'clock and he smells like peach and cream shampoo, and he told you he was at the gym, you know he slept with somebody else. Because they do not have peaches and cream body oil in the dispensary at LA Fitness. So every wife has told me in session, I knew he was out there cheating. I just chose to ignore it, hoping that it would go away. Because what happens is when a man cheats, or even when a woman cheats, your behavior changes. The way you move is differently. The way you move is differently. Because you got something else you're working towards. You know what I'm saying? So because you're attracting somebody else. Your wife, you already know what works with her. Your husband, you already know what works with him. With this new person, I got to do something different. That's like when you get divorced. More people start working out, getting healthier when they get divorced. Because in their mind, I got to change the old to the new.
Now, you also talk about counseling when a couple breaks up.
Yes.
Okay, so if I broke up from my ex, why we got to get counseling?
Because if you love your children, you'll get
Mm.
counseling. Because you have to know, just because I hate the sight of you, I still love the children that we produced. And if I keep on hating you, I'm going to act out in front of our children.
That's true.
But if I love our children, and I know I got to be at birthday parties with you, graduations, bar mitzvahs, baby showers, and weddings and everything else, I got to know how to sit in the room with you and be in a good space.
Do you find do you counsel black and white couples?
Yes.
Do you find black couples to be more reluctant or no? Or about
Not at all. When they call on me, they ready. They're
Okay.
ready. They're ready.
You once said in another session, you said men are easy. Basically, you said men are pretty easy. So generally, what do you think men are, and you talked to both of them. So what do you think men are seeking and what do you think women are seeking?
When you say seeking, what do you mean?
In a relationship. In a relationship.
If a man had a great mother, he wants a replica of mom.
Oh, really?
Why wouldn't we want to be cared to by the woman who loved us first? Why wouldn't we want a replica of that?
Just like a woman does. She wants somebody like my dad. Yep, that's true.
Yes. Find out what his mother did and replicate it.
But I want to know, I'm going back to a question. How does a woman find out if a man has grown up and don't cheat anymore?
Right. You will remember I told you men are lazy and we're easy. If I'm cheating, the signs are there if you just use your eyes. When I'm not cheating, you get all of my attention. You get all of my attention. In fact, you'll be like, go away, go out with the boys or something. Get from under me.
Okay.
Yes. That's the only way. That's the only litmus test.
So there's no other test to tell before you even start.
If he gets off at 5 o'clock and he's home by 5:45 every night, he ain't cheating.
Okay, that's so common sense.
If he joins the gym with you and taking you to the gym all 4 days he goes, well,
yeah, that's true.
Right. And then you will know it because this is the man you lay down with every day. That's why I'm saying when a man is cheating, the wife already knows. When I'm talking to married couples, they tell me all the time, well, my kids don't know the extent. I said, yes, they do. No, they don't, Mr. Scott, because we don't argue in front of them. I said, do this, because I give my couples homework assignments after each session.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell them, interview your kids if you think I'm wrong. Sure enough, they come back the next session. Mr. Scott, I didn't know my daughter knew I cheated. I didn't know. Why wouldn't the human beings who live with you every day not know that something is different going on?
Yeah, but I guess I wouldn't think the kids would be receptive to that, but you're right.
Right. If my daughter is upstairs and I'm thinking she got headphones on, have you heard me in person? My voice carries.
It booms.
So whether she got the highest frequency of her earplugs on, she's still gonna hear daddy's voice. If my mood is anything but jovial, she's gonna feel it. She's my kid, right?
That's true. She can sense how you,
Absolutely. So the kids know, they may not know the details, but they know it's trouble in paradise.
So you believe couples should seek counseling before they get married or when they decide to get married, throughout their marriage and any hint of trouble, and if they decide to end the marriage?
Yes.
Wow. Do you think love languages play a role in therapy or in building a relationship? You know how they say love language, you got to know the love language. Do you think that plays a role or no?
Yes, it's just what love language is basically saying is know who you lay down with every night.
Oh,
know what works. For me, if I get with somebody, she knows she has to cook. She has to cook. I love food from a woman's hands. Don't try to convince me. Don't tell me that all the men you dated cooked for you. That's fine. Go and be with them. But if you're with Khalid Scott, I like cooking from a woman's hand. And I'm not saying 7 nights a week, but I like to eat food that is made by a woman. Other men may not require that. That's my requirement. And I'll tell you that on the first date. So you got options. Like, I ain't no cook. Let me go and see Jonathan. But maybe he like that.
You're right about. I got a question for you. Well, how do you know when women cheat? Women are better and they're great at covering up lies. I don't know why they would say that, but go ahead.
What happens is men still have intuition too.
Okay.
We know if we're deficiting and you ain't complaining or nagging us no more, something else is happening. If you used to nag me about something over and over and you got to a point where I don't hear from you no more, you like,
because you don't care. It's like, whatever.
Don't care. Because remember that man I'm sleeping, the other guy, he got here first. Janice, if you're married, but I want you, I'm targeting your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to tell me everything your husband has not done. And I'm going to do the polar opposite. He don't send me flowers no more. The very next day, you're going to get a Hallmark card and a bunch of roses at work in front of your co-workers. And you're going to be like, what? He paid attention.
He listened.
He listening. Oh my God, I gotta give him some.
You're sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh, that is.
You don't think us men know that? Hell yeah, we know that. I told you last time, I got friends who on 5 different dating sites because they figured women out. They figured women out. I told you my one guy, he's on 5 dating sites. He doesn't want a woman who lives in Chicago. He likes to date women who live outside of Chicago because he doesn't want the midnight knock on the door. So he knows
what
if
do you
I'm
think about dating sites. I want you to, because a lot. No, really. I thought, you know what? I'm so glad. How come you don't like them?
There will never be a substitute for human to human interaction. Though we do well this way, think about when I came into the studio with you and that vibration. There is nothing, this will never take the place of in person.
Okay. So
and on this, I can be Denzel Washington.
True.
You can be Halle Berry. But in person, I have to take that mask off, and you have to take your mask off. And people come to me, well, Khalid, I had a friend who got married after 3 months of being on blackpeoplemeet.com.
Me too. I know people that have been.
And I got you. And I said, well, if they stay married long enough, then they have defied my odds. But I don't believe it because it's a microwave way of meeting people. It's microwave.
Okay, Khalid. So if you don't believe in dating sites and I want to be the nice guy and there's no place anybody go out, people don't introduce you to people. I only work with a small group of people. How are you going to meet them? Just asking.
You meet them at the grocery store. Mariano's is pumped. Jules is pumped. If I'm a single man, where I'm gonna meet beautiful women who know how to cook.
At the grocery store.
Right down the street to Jules.
And you got a beautiful neighbor. You got a beautiful neighborhood. I got to tell you.
Absolutely.
That one picture you had, that picture you really, ooh.
Absolutely.
You have a beautiful home in a beautiful neighborhood. That place is beautiful. I got to tell you.
Absolutely. So
you're saying the grocery store.
The grocery store, church.
I have a small church. Keep on naming.
The gym.
Okay.
Work.
Okay.
On the bus stop.
Okay.
Uber. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Where there's human people, there's human connection.
Someone has a little funny comment because they know that you like women who cook. A very pretty lady, Diana Anderson, said, "Does Janet Jackson cook?" Wait, ain't that your wife? Woohoo! Control.
Janet makes the best sweet cornbread ever.
Wait, Nat, Khalid. I even saw your Thanksgiving card. Now, come on.
Khalid. Right. She made that whole entire Thanksgiving meal, and it was delicious.
You know what? Oh my God.
Let me make it clear. Who's her mama? Catherine.
Oh my gosh.
And who was her daddy? Janice.
I know, JoJo. Okay.
Yes.
But
my wife was a Jehovah's Witness, so they believe go in that kitchen.
Well, someone is saying that you'll make an exception for her, and from your post and everything, I'd have to agree with Mr. Jones. So I'm just going to leave it right there. Can you believe this, Khalid? And you know what? I can't agree with you about that face to face. It is much different. I do agree with you on that. And I personally apprehensive about dating sites. But everybody I know is on a dating site and dating 3 and 4 guys. And it's like,
we're lazy. We're lazy. We're lazy. Maybe. We can order food. We can have groceries. We can get our car washed. Everything sitting at home. When I got my car detailed for my birthday in July, they came to my house.
They do now. Yeah, I got one that can come to my house to clean my car too.
Right. So we're lazy. But why would you be lazy with something as significant as a relationship? But go ahead and do it. You'll be sitting on my couch paying me $95.
Oh, no. That's because people say you don't meet them anywhere. Where you meet them at? I mean, you know, other than guys of other hues, they always want to, you know. But I mean, black men. Speaking of other hues, we wanted to touch on this because you kind of had a post on Facebook about this is very personal about your spouse and how your ex-spouse and how you used to get people rolled. Back in that day when you were married to her, I would have probably rolled my eyes at you. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But did you really get that much backlash because they thought she was white?
Yes. And the assumption was I chased after her because she was high yellow. What folks don't know, and that my ex-wife would have to admit, she came after me.
Well, I saw pictures of you with all kind of models, and you were not that you're not gorgeous now, but you were.
Yes.
But is it wrong for if you did prefer light-skinned women?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So what? That's your preference, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah.
My thing is I love black women. I love black women. And I love the rainbow of our blackness. I got male friends who are high yellow to deep rich dark. I love anything black and everything in between. And so what happened was, imagine me, I'm very pro-black love. I'm walking down the street with my wife and black women are looking at me like, how dare you? And I'm like, what are you looking at? I'm married to a black woman.
But I wouldn't know that. I would think she was Middle Eastern, Latinx, or something like that. That's what I thought when I thought she was other. I call them other.
No. Not at all. 2 fair-skinned parents. I wrote in there that even when she would go to school with Anaya said her classmates was like, "Is your mother white or Hispanic?" And Anaya was like, "No, she's black."
I mean, I'm just saying that's other. And someone made a comment: "High yellow are aggressive, Khalid." High yellow, they know what they want. And they go after it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey,
and she was a Scorpio, so you know.
Oh yeah, Scorpio too.
All right. When they want something, boom, they go for it.
Well,
but then when they mad at you, they're gonna stab you. You see the stab mark in my back? Yeah.
I like knives too, so I can't.
Yeah, I got stitches in my back right now. Yeah.
Anyway, I can't believe our time is over. Okay, so
it's
almost 7 o'clock. If someone wanted to book you for as a motivational speaker, I think you'd be fabulous. Or if someone wanted to get on your 10-month waiting list, tell us how we can reach you.
Okay, thank you for asking. I am on all social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Khalid Scott. My telephone number is 312-43-SCOTT. 312-43-SCOTT. I'm on psychologytoday.com. And then the website for the private practice is higherachiever.net.
And that number is 312-43-SCOTT. Single, yes. Fine, got a beautiful house in a beautiful neighborhood, and take pictures with all kind of beautiful ladies. So I'm gonna have to call them offline on that one. Find out what's happening with my bro. But anyway, it has been
confident. You know what? I'm 250 pounds, but when I look at Khalid, I see Morris Chestnut. Confidence, especially in a man, will get you anything you want.
Well, what about confidence in a woman? I see myself as Janet Jackson weighing 128 pounds.
Absolutely. But see, I'm not a woman, so I only know what works for men. But confidence in anybody. Anybody. Think of those rappers who are heavy set.
I know, and they don't
can have money, but if they didn't have confidence, they wouldn't pull nobody. Well, confidence is attractive. Women now,
I know some big women that are just, they're confident.
And it's got to be genuine confidence. It's got to be genuine, not surface confidence.
Yeah.
Genuine.
Well, you got to know who you are and whose you are.
Yes.
That note, I hate to go. I love talking to you. I hate to go, but you got to, when the weather get nice, you got to come to the studio. We go out there or something. So it's always good seeing you. Thank you so much. Voices have changed. Love having you back on here. And take care. Once again, Khalid Scott, to get in touch with him. He's on all social media outlets, all of them. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Phone number 312-43-SCOTT. How easy is that? Motivational speaker. He will turn it out. This brother, you may not agree with him all the time because we sometimes go at it, but this brother backs his facts. So thank you so much, Mr. Scott. I appreciate it, Dr. Scott. I speak things.
All right. Thank you for love, Sor. I love you.
Okay, love you back. Bye-bye. And thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week at 6 p.m. Thank you.